With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy, blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 3 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Programele noastre oferă multe limbi. Vă puteți uita pe suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The more and more you take in that live food, this raw food, and all that life force energy, the more your energy will raise in vibration, and the more you will want more of it.
Please stay with us to enjoy this illuminating Congress.
Want to look into the mirror, seeing that you are a pure being? Then choose vegan.
Today's program will be presented in English with subtitles in Arabic, Al-Assis, also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, and Ukrainian or Uranian. Lobadin means good day in Latgalian. Generous viewers, I am Petris. The Honorable Latgalians walk with you on the benevolent vegan journey for a pandemic-free and peaceful world. In the European country of Latvia reside the Latgalians, an ethnic group living in Latgal, the easternmost region of the nation. Known poetically as the land of blue lakes, Latgal is where the Latgalians have lived since ancient times. It is now Latvia's most preserved area with picturesque natural landscapes of forests, pristine lakes, and geological wonders. The culture of the Latgalian people is distinguished by time-honored traditions that include the crafting of ceramics for practical uses and the art of blown glass. These beautiful objects are created and displayed at the Livani Glass and Craft Center in Latgal. Another artistic tradition is jewelry making. The famed Latvian Namais ring, which symbolizes independence, friendship, and trust, was first discovered in Latgalian lands. Latgalians have long been a multi-religious society with harmonious coexistence of faiths such as Orthodox, Catholic, Lutheran, and Jewish. In the city of Daugavpils, for instance, 4 different houses of worship stand nearby each other, including a historic Old Believer church. Traditional festivities reflect the Latgalians' close association with nature. These include the December winter solstice celebration, referred to in folk songs as the return of the light. In December 2010, the first ever Middle East Vegetarian Congress was held at the Dubai International Exhibition Center, with the public invited to engage in an interactive exploration of the plant-based lifestyle. Organized by the Middle East Veg Group, or MIVEG, supported by the Middle East Natural and Organic Product Expo 2010, and endorsed by the Dubai Health Authority of the United Arab Emirates, the event provided 2 days of seminars, workshops, and video telecasts with experts from around the world, along with rejuvenating veg cuisine. In addition, Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan was specially invited to speak via live video link on being a vegan and environmentally sustainable food choice, followed by a question and answer session with attendees and the launch of the Arabic edition of the international best-selling book The Birds in My Life, which was already sold out pre-launch. The Birds in My Life was printed by United Printing and Publishing, a subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Media Company, or ADMC, owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. We now invite you to join us for part 32 of the conference titled The First Middle East Vegetarian or Me-Veg Congress, held in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on December 7th, 2010, with Cinta Gonzalez, vegan, a human relations coach whose presentation is called Food, Emotion and Life Force.
Okay, so I give here all these different examples of sources of prana and ways to bring in the prana, bring in that life force. I just want to say something about organic food that's very special. I'm sure you all have heard of Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall is an English woman that is very famous for working with the chimpanzees and has lived with them and in Africa and is very active still with that whole thing, and now has gone really into the green movement about preserving their environment. Jane Goodall, because she lived with the chimpanzees for so long, there's a story that she tells in one of her latest books about where she had organic apples and non-organic apples. And because they're her family to her, she tossed them a non-organic apple first. And they just kind of, they smelled and just kind of went like that to it and just threw it down. Didn't even want anything to do with it. And then she tossed them an organic apple and they immediately took it, crunched into it, and ate it up. And to me, that says it all. And for those of you familiar with kinesiology, that's a brilliant test you can do where you take an apple, an organic apple or a non-organic apple, do a blind study with it, have the person who's testing you, and do muscle testing. And then take the non-organic apple, put it right at your solar plexus area, and let the person test you, and then see what happens. And you will go weak. I mean, and with not knowing which one it is, and then take the organic, and you'll stay strong. So this is huge. When I went raw, the organic market did not exist yet. And it was 1.5 years into being raw that it finally opened. And I was profoundly grateful. It changed everything for me. And it was I was raw, I was hanging in with it. I could get a few things that were organic, but not very much. And it was a real blessing for me, because once I could be on pretty much 99, 95, 90% organic, it just, everything, it's like I felt like I took off even more than where I was already going. So there's a lot to be said for that, and your body will tell you. There is so much now on YouTube in terms of all of this work. You type in any of these keywords and you'll get things, and there are people that are lecturing on this, doing demonstrations on this. It's very inspiring. Okay, and then I just want to talk here about what is spiritual hunger. For me, when I went raw, the thing that I was aware of is that I felt so good that week of doing the Art of Living. And I said to myself, and I said to the group at the time, I feel so good. I want to feel like this all the time, but why would I not? Why would I not maintain this? And what came was that somewhere, and this might be a bit abstract, so bear with me, but what I became aware of was that somewhere I was lacking in spiritual self-confidence. Now, I had never used that word before. I had never entertained that concept before. And I found myself a bit puzzled. What am I saying? What do I mean by that? And it was this awareness of that I am that life force energy. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute here. By the way, there's another term I just want to mention. You'll hear in the raw food movement, they'll say, I eat live foods. I'm not just raw, I eat live foods. Live food is when it's been picked rather recently. And I know that discussion came up yesterday as well and by a particular gentleman. What do we do, how to work with that? And the lovely man from Singapore, mentioned, well, he's doing pretty well considering, and yes, everything's imported into Singapore. So it's rare these days for us living in these metropolises to get live food. But when you do, it's that next vibration. And so whenever you can, I mean, it's just a whole nother thing. And the few times in my life when I've been able to have a lot of that, with either traveling in southern France or in Lebanon or in California, I mean, this is what I call the fertile belt. These areas where you can get live food quite readily, but only during certain seasons. That food carries so much life force energy. And what is life force? That's the component of enzymes in our food. When we cook food over 42, 43 degrees centigrade, the enzymes are killed off. All of them, they're all killed off. So when the enzymes are that life force energy, when we maintain those enzymes in the food, we are taking in that life force energy directly. And then I make the whole correlation there. And then that connection is, we're taking in the prana, the life force directly. We're taking in source. And it's pretty amazing. Now, the thing I want to say about this also is that for a lot of you, this path is so profoundly individual. It is so personal. They all say, all the raw foodists say, I'm 80% raw, I'm 95% raw, I'm 100% raw, I'm this, I'm that. Really, all of them say, as long as you are over the 50% of raw, you will get the benefits. Okay? And a lot of them write about that if you're under the 50% of raw, you're taking your natural allotment of enzymes to digest the food rather than replenishing them with new enzymes. And so if you're over 50%, then you're not hurting yourself by depleting yourself to digest the food that you're eating. And it's a gradual thing. The more and more you take in that live food, this raw food, and all that life force energy, the more your energy will raise in vibration, and the more you will want more of it. And that's been my journey. I mean, it's been 7 years. I mean, I had certain attachment foods in the beginning that I would, have every once in a while. And then over time, I would feel, for example, in my work, that I would be, what I call foggy on the brain for about 2 to 3 days. And I wasn't as efficient. I wasn't as lucid. I wasn't as sharp. And I felt actually, I felt lacking in integrity to be doing my work because I wasn't coming in with all my hardware. And so that feeling has grown over time. And it continues to just get better and better. I just want to open it up to questions if anybody has any questions.
Is there any book or website of yours where we can find more information?
I don't have one just yet. It's under construction, but I can tell you that there's Victoria Butenke's website is absolutely brilliant. She puts out a monthly newsletter that's extremely informative. There is another woman out of England named Shazzy, SHAZZIE.com. Shazzy she was a real teacher to me in the very beginning. She is an extraordinary source of information. David Wolf is another big name in the raw food movement.
Hi there.
Hi.
My question is, I've recently started getting on the raw journey, and I'm exercising a lot, right? So I find that I don't have enough carbs and I'm low on energy. How do you advise that I sort of balance that out? So
In warmer weather, I swim an hour every day in the sea every morning, and just about every morning. And I'm a very physical, active person. When I'm very actively exercising, aside from just eating lots of my, the fruits and my greens and salads and grated carrots and grated beets and all those great vegetables, the two things that help me the most are avocados and cashew nuts, for example. These two things have helped me the most to get over, to get beyond. But also breathing correctly. Because when we breathe correctly, we take in the prana. So there is so much life force energy just in how we breathe. If we're breathing incorrectly or losing it or not breathing through our nose enough, we waste that extraordinary life force energy. So that is a huge component right there. But definitely avocados. When I'm in cold climates, and it's the challenge for me is not being raw. The challenge is being prepared enough and being in a setting. But back to your thing, it's just really taking in that more bulk food. So when I'm exercising on a regular basis, I will definitely eat an avocado a day. That will be part of my lunchtime, salad. The other thing are bananas at breakfast time. But I haven't had any problems at all, actually, and I'm quite active physically. So I hope that answers you.
Okay, good to know that you are wrong understanding. You look very younger. And what do you think about cereals? People depend on cereals a lot, rice, wheat, and all. So do you take any cereals?
No, I don't at all. The only thing that I do take in is in the winter time here, you know how our homes here, they don't have any heating in the winter. And, those evenings in January can be quite cold. And so I always find in January, that tends to be my month, that I'm called towards, the thing for me is making raw hummus. So I'll sprout chickpeas. It's a bit of an effort and a bit, preparation. I've got to be organized. They take 3 to 4 days to sprout, and then I make hummus with that. Or I'll just take the sprouted chickpeas and throw them in my salad. By the way, that's another great thing with exercising is sprouted chickpeas. Or lentils, but chickpeas are my favorite. But and so that's that. But any of the cereals, no, I've just let all that go.
There's a lot of hype about vitamin B12 supplements and all. Do you take any supplements like that?
No, very rarely. I don't need it. Let me speak about the B12 and the iron. First of all, the iron, you totally can get it from a plant-based diet. My body just tells me what I need. Whenever I need iron, I start craving black mission figs. So I just want figs, and I don't even know why. And then that's the key. So vitamin A, sometimes I'll have a calling, and I'll go for the carrots. And then calcium. Sesame seeds, unhulled ideally, the brown sesame seeds, which you can get at the organic here, or almonds. Almonds and sesame seeds are extreme high sources, and broccoli, but calcium. Now the B12, there is B12 in seaweed. You can get B12 in seaweed, and I have been fine. To be honest, it hasn't been a problem. But, every once in a blue moon, I will feel a call for taking a supplement, but it's very, very rare. And it's usually actually when I'm only traveling because I'm not getting what I normally need. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks again, Mivej. Thanks.
Very interesting. So we can survive. Why should we even consider about it? Because our ancestors, I don't know after how long they came to know of fire or invented or discovered fire. But before that, all our ancestors were living on just raw food. So why should we have these kind of speculations and over lunch, Andrew was sharing that he has a very muscular, macho-looking friend, and he survives on chi or ki, on just literally fresh air and love, as they say. He refuses to eat, drink, anything. So that's another thought to think about. And as I was sharing with you yesterday, that our left brain thinking just blocks everything. We say impossible, but nothing is impossible. As they say in Arabic over here, La shay mustahil, which means there is nothing that is impossible in this world. So it's interesting to actually know people. The more exposure we have, the more different type of people we meet. You know what we do? We go and socialize with our own kind all the time. That's our comfort zone. The more we expand our vision, our horizon, our network, the better it is for us. We get to know so much. So, Sintha, that was lovely.
I've been vegan since I got out of the hospital. It's another eye-opener. It changed my life in a number of ways. Travis Barker, vegan.
Generous viewers, thank you for your presence today for the first Middle East Vegetarian or Me-Veg Congress on Words of Wisdom. Please join us tomorrow for part 33 of this illuminating conference. May we be blessed by the divine through our benevolent actions.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.